Have you heard about Trichuris Trichiura? Trichuris Trichiura is a very common gastrointestinal parasite under the group of nematodes or roundworms that dwells in the human large intestine where it spread. The worm's common name, which is whipworm, is derived from its whip-like shape. As you can notice, the posterior end is thick, while the anterior end, which is the head, is very thin or small. So here is the head, something around here, and the other end is this, where the intestine and genital organs are located. Just like a whip where both ends are opposite in sizes, this is the end and the small end. Let us now talk about its life cycle. This is the life cycle of Trichuris Trichiura or whipworm. First, unembryonated eggs are passed with stool of infected person. Then, in the soil, the eggs are developed into a two-cell stage, followed by an advanced cleavage, and later become embryonated. The eggs become infective in 15 to 30 days. When the embryonated eggs are ingested, it then hatches in the small intestine and release larvae that will mature and live or resides in the large intestine. The adult females oviposit 60 to 70 days after infection, shedding between 3,000 and 20,000 eggs per day. The lifespan of adults is about 1 year. The infective stage of whipworm is the embryonated eggs that are ingested, while the diagnostic stage is unembryonated eggs passed in feces. So now this is the image of a whipworm egg. It has a barrel shaped or like a football with the characteristics of two polar plugs that are found at both ends. Either of the two polar ends are opened during the liberation of the larvae or allowing the larvae to go out of its shell. So the doorway, either of the both ends of the plug. The egg size is about 50 to 55 micrometers by 20 to 25 micrometers. This image manifests the variation of egg size of the Trichuris Trichiura. There are also whipworm eggs that are considered as atypical, such as the following. This is the image of the adult worms. The male worms are shorter and thinner, which is about 30 to 45 millimeters long, compared to female worms, which is 35 to 50 millimeters. And what is also distinguishable feature between the two is their posterior end. The male posterior end is coiled, while the female posterior end is not coiled or straight. The coiled posterior end of a male worm contains a spicule. Did you know that Trichuris Trichiura is the third most common roundworms of human? There are approximately 604 to 795 million people who are infected with whipworm worldwide as of this year 2020. It is more frequent in areas with tropical weather and poor sanitation practices, and even among children, because children used to play outdoors and often eat with bare hands. How does it infect human? Whipworm is considered as soil-transmitted helminths or parasite worms in the soil. If an infected person defecates outside, it might be near the bushes, in the garden or field, or if their feces are used as fertilizers. Whipworm eggs that are passed in the feces can be ingested when hands that are dirty or contaminated with whipworm eggs are put in the mouth, or by consuming vegetables or fruits that are not carefully washed, peeled, or cooked. What disease or infection can it cause? Infected persons carry the disease called trichuriasis or whipworm infection. They may suffer from light or heavy infection. Light infections may usually have no symptoms, while infected persons with heavy symptoms may suffer from frequent painful passage of stool that contains a mixture of mucus, water, and blood. Rectal prolapse may also occur. Heavy infected persons can also suffer severe anemia and growth retardation. How is whipworm diagnosed? Whipworm is diagnosed by taking stool samples with the use of a microscope and look for the presence of whipworm eggs. As for light infections, where eggs are difficult to find, a concentration procedure is recommended. Also, colonoscopy may also show adult worms. What treatment could be used? Infected person can be treated for 1 to 3 days with anthelmintic medications or drugs that get rid of parasitic worms, such as albendazole and mebendazole. Repeating stool examination after treatment can also be done as decided by a healthcare provider. Albendazole should be taken with food. The dosage for adults and children are the following: albendazole 400 mg orally for 3 days, and mebendazole 100 mg orally twice a day for 3 days. How to prevent from getting this infection? First, you should avoid contact with soils that may be contaminated with human feces and other soil that uses human fecal matter as fertilizers. Also, wash hands thoroughly with soap and warm water before handling food. Educate children with correct and frequent hand washing, and make sure to wash, peel, or cook all raw vegetables and fruits before eating. And what can be done to prevent transmission of infection? If you are an infected person, you should not defecate outdoors, and effective sewage disposal systems should be done. Thank you for listening. God bless everyone, and get away from Trichuris Trichiura. Bye!